Hi, I'm Erik Linask here at Interop in Las Vegas, talking now with Motorola's Dr. Amit Sinha.
Morning,
welcome,
Erik.
Welcome. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
We want to talk a little bit about wireless technology, specifically what's going on with 802.11n. Maybe start. What's the latest? What are we seeing in terms of use and deployment?
So 802.11n was ratified last year, and it is becoming the mainstream wireless LAN standard. A lot of enterprises now realize that with 802.11n they can get over 100 megabits per second, and the whole vision of a wireless enterprise is becoming a reality. And most of the customers I talk to now want to run mission critical wireless applications on their wireless network, not just email browsing within a conference room, but voice and video in a seamless fashion across the entire campus that they have.
So as businesses look to become completely or at least predominantly wireless, what kind of challenges does specifically 802.11n pose for the IT groups?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. One of the foremost concerns CIOs have is whether the wireless LAN network is going to be easy to deploy and manage, right? If you look at current generation technology, they tend to be very hub and spoke centric, where you have a centralized controller that often becomes the bottleneck,
right,
with a lot of these thin access points feeding into the controller. With 802.11n, you need more adaptive architectures that can be easily deployed on a layer 2 network or a layer 3 network or a mesh network. So think about a university campus. You have digital natives now, students who've never seen anything but wireless. They refuse to connect to an Ethernet port, even if they see one right next to them. They'd much rather be wireless. And for that type of environment, you need a wireless LAN that is easy to deploy regardless of the network topology. I shouldn't have to re-architect my wired network. I shouldn't have to change my PoE switches just to support 802.11n. And it should work seamlessly indoors and outdoors, right? So whether it's mesh networking, whether it's indoor access points, outdoor access points, all these should be simple to deploy, not requiring any wired network re-architecture, and should have a single point of management and control. So deployment is and management is a big concern. Closely tied to that is reliability. Right? A lot of CIOs are making these big investments in 802.11n, and they want to make sure that they are getting the throughput and the reliability from that network. And for that, you need networks that are self-optimizing, self-healing. So if there's a microwave oven in a branch office, that shouldn't bring down the wireless network. If there's a hotshot sales guy with a Bluetooth headset right next to my AP, that should not interfere. So APs should be smart enough to optimize their channel, their power levels, to be able to provide that reliable experience. So quality of experience is very critical, I feel, for CIOs. They need to know that their users aren't going to be complaining about intermittent connectivity. So similarly, if you have a branch office, you might have a situation where the wired link is down. Does that mean that the wireless is also off? It shouldn't be the case. You should have remote site survivability, where the wireless network within that remote office is still working, regardless of whether the WAN is up or down. So reliability, management, these are some of the top concerns. And then, as you go into the world of wireless, security starts popping up. You don't want hackers in your parking lot, breaking into your wireless network and stealing data. So to be able to have the right authentication, encryption, and 24/7 monitoring on top of that is also very critical to make sure that there are no rogue wireless devices or user policy violations. If you look at the retail sector, a lot of the hackers were breaking into stores using wireless networks, and you definitely don't want your name in the newspaper if you're a CIO. So being able to lock down the wireless network, provide compliance reports, eliminate rogue wireless devices, those are some of the top concerns there.
Now, what kind of additional things have to be factored in by enterprises who are combining their existing B&G technologies with the newer N technology?
Great question, right? And that brings this whole total cost of ownership argument that I hear about from a lot of CIOs into focus. If you look at the total cost of ownership for wireless LANs today, it is a combination of capital expenditure, which is hardware, software, laying the cables, etc., and operational expenses. That typically is around support, maintenance, being able to troubleshoot connectivity issues. If you look at the traditional legacy ABG networks, all CIOs today want a clear migration path with legacy protection, right? So they might have a wireless LAN from a legacy vendor, but they really want to invest in 802.11n. They want to rip and replace everything. They don't want to change their wired switches. They don't want to have separate management systems. So they are looking for multi-vendor management systems that can provide that migration protection for legacy infrastructure that they have from an ABG perspective, at the same time allow them to invest in 802.11n and the future of wireless LANs. Now, once you have that holistic wireless network, you still might have problems. You might have a user walk into one of your offices and he or she may not be able to connect to the wireless network. And then that's when the remote troubleshooting tools become important. Can a user call a help desk, and the help desk, can they remotely fix those problems without having to send experts on site, right? You don't want your RF gurus running around with laptop analyzers everywhere just to make sure that the users are getting the quality of experience they want for their wireless LAN. So overall, the CIOs are looking for migration protection. They are looking for single management consoles for multi-vendor networks. They're looking for integrated wireless LAN management and troubleshooting so that they can fix problems in real time without having to dispatch experts on site, because that really brings up the support or the operational expenses. As a matter of fact, if you look at a 5-year total cost of ownership, you'd find that in many cases that total cost is dominated by operational expenses as opposed to the upfront investment that they had to make from a capital perspective.
Excellent. Been talking here at Interop with Dr. Amit Sinha from Motorola. Thanks very much, Amit, for joining me.
Thank you.